So today, we're going to do a video specifically on packing, and this is packing on the Rimowa Original Cabin suitcase. So let's get into it. Hey folks, welcome back to techgooch. Today I'm doing a video. What I really wanted to do before I actually have a trip, I have a trip coming up in 3 days, and I'm starting to get ready to pack for it. And of course I have my new Rimowa Original Cabin that I have here in the Mars color, which I did a video on, my last video I think, when I received it. And I wanted to take a peek at the compressionability of packing clothing. So these guys actually have on both sides this compression basically piece that allows you to compress clothing in the suitcase without actually adding any other additional item into that. So I wanted to take a peek at how well is that actually doing if I just did loose clothing in there versus if I was to actually use some compression bags. So these right here are compression bags for lean travel. I also have my compression bags that I used last year from Peak Design, which I love. I'm really looking forward to seeing how well these work. So what I thought I'd do is, let's take clothing, put it in the suitcase on one side, compress it, see it, basically fill it up. And then let's actually put them in the bags and see how much of a difference it actually makes. Now, of course, you're going to add the weight of the bag and the thickness of the material. Is that all that happens? Or because of the shape of the bag, does it mess things up? That's what I wanted to take a peek at. And so these two bags specifically, I'm also, what we used to use in the past here in my family, these are space bags, or there you go, space bags together. Basically, they're gigantic Ziploc bags. And what you do is you fill your clothing in here, you roll all the air out, and while you're kneeling on your clothing, you zip it shut. And then it's like you vacuum sealed your clothing in a bag. These work incredibly well. They really do. The downside to them is, well, you have to do that every time you pack your bag, and you're going to compress this, and you're going to have to compress it if you filled your bag with 100% compressed stuff. And these aren't the easiest to do, because basically for my wife and both of my children, I had to be the one that did all the compression for the most part to make sure that all the air got out. My wife started getting good at it, so she started doing her own, but of course I'm the one that's doing everybody else's, so they're a little bit more troublesome. Also, if this does rip, which we had, I think maybe 2 so far that ripped, they do have a finite life expectancy to them, but they're cheap for how many as you get, and they work incredibly well. So maybe I'll take a peek at doing that again as well, so we'll compare all 3 of these compression styles versus that. Might as well. So we're gonna head up to my bedroom, and we're gonna do it up there, and basically packing on my bed. Okay, so this is using the Rimowa's, basically their own compression. Nothing else other than their own compression. I have 8 pairs of underwear in here. Well, I can show you that here in a second, I guess. So that's what it looks like in the compression mode. So I have a pair of sweatpants. I have 4 pairs of shorts. Different types of shorts. 8 t-shirts, just standard t-shirts, and then 8 pairs of underwear. This essentially, I'll show you here, I rolled up and kind of put into the frame, so you kind of make a level playing field for the rest of the stuff, right? And of course I just packed it in here just to see how well it compressed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take these now and using compression bags do something similar. I'm wondering if, because of the fact that you can see here, you get a lot of space that's kind of in these divots, it might still be smarter to use these for your socks and underwear, your small things, to kind of pack into here. Just items that of thought. So you saw what it looked like with just being using the compression bag, or just this with no other bags, just the product itself. Now I want to see how these various compression bags that I have actually work. So first is one of the larger ones from the Lean Travel series. There you go. Not as good as you can see. I do have more room, kind of. I still can stick more stuff in here, but I'm already bulging, and that's just because basically you put everything in this thing. I will say that it's pretty solid, but I mean I do have more room underneath too, so I could actually take some of that underwear that I put around it and actually put it underneath. But I basically put all 8 shirts, 4 shorts, and 1 my sweatpants in this bag. I'm now going to try to separate that out into a couple smaller bags and see if that does anything different with the lean travel. Okay, so the smaller ones, 2 smaller ones actually worked better in some regards. It didn't work as good as other regards because they're not sized specifically for what I would say is a carry-on or a 20-inch like spinner bag like this. So I have the medium size and the smaller size, and then I have this big strip. They could have made these bags a little bit wider to fit a generic, at least most suitcases. I think that's my biggest pet peeve about these, is that they don't have. So what I did end up doing, this is all my t-shirts in that one, and then I just kind of laid these underneath. If they were sized a little bit wider, I think I could get more stuff in this guy, and then even with this. So this is all my underwear here, and there's definitely ample more room in this bag too. So there's actually, in all reality, I think there's actually more room because I did use a compression on top of compression, but with these specific bags it's not sized perfectly. So I'm gonna try another one. So on this one it's about the same. However, I actually have more room up top yet. This one is the Peak Design ones. I think I actually get this down further if I actually were to take stuff out of the bags. But you can see how both bags actually fit pretty good. But if I, like I said, I think if I line the underwear up down below, right now I have it kind of split. I have a couple t-shirts in here, but there's a lot more room in this bag yet. And then the underwear, and then all the pants, and then the rest of the t-shirts are in this guy, which is pretty heavy right now. So I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to try taking all the underwear out. I'm going to line it up the bottom and then just put the t-shirts and pants in these and see how it does. So as you can see here, we again are just, basically almost exactly like we were when we started, except for now I have this one that has all my pants in it, this one has all my t-shirts in it, and then I have all my underwear basically stacking below. So you can see I really like these, and I prefer traveling with these compression bags. But do you need these? No. I mean, you can use just the Rimowa's compression layer is fantastic, and other suitcases are going to have something similar. So it all depends on your suitcase, right? The beautiful thing about this specific suitcase is the fact that I can do loose and use this big compression stack here without having to add more compression bags. But the nice thing about these specific ones right here from Peak Design is on the back side, you can actually put your dirty clothes, and there's just, this is a divider layer that will float towards the other side as you go from clean to dirty. So this is my favorite thing about these specifically. And I can keep everything separated, and if there's any funk or anything, or if you were to have your toiletries in here and they spill, this is going to keep your clothes from getting nasty. So it is actually a benefit in all reality to have a good set of bags to put your clothing in. I'm just steering clear of the Ziploc plastic bags anymore if I can help it, although those work quite well. Well, so here we are, last option with the Ziploc bags. That actually works, I think, the best of all of them. So you can see how they kind of look like they're vacuum sealed, right? I think I could probably get a little more out of the shirt bag, but it is what it is. And then the pant bag is definitely solid and vacuum sealed. I think what happened is, if I actually take this one out, I bet I can get this down even more. I'm going to try to do the underwear in the actual ribs again real quick. So I think for capability of packing down as tight as possible, that is the best scenario. These Ziploc bags are amazing. They're a pain in the butt, but they are amazing. That's why we used them in the past. And fill below anywhere that there's, specifically in this side of the case. This side of the suitcase isn't going to have that issue. Just this side with the actual handle. That's what that is the arms of the handle. Fill in below with whatever you can. Don't go above the, past that spot unless it can compress. And then, use what you can. But that's the best case. And if you didn't notice before, like, this is a larger bag. They do have smaller bags. And we like to mix them up, so for your smaller items, for your bigger items, things like that. I could have actually done the t-shirts maybe in 2 of these smaller ones and stacked them differently, but it just gives you options in the space bags. They're the cheaper option, and they definitely pack very, very well. So, like I said, this is not specifically a review on this. It's more about talking about the compression capability of this by itself without changing anything, right? Without packing things in special bags. I think it actually works quite well, to be honest about it. With the Peak Design compression bags, I got it to be about the same as this, but that is because this is extremely lightweight material. And the thing I love about these is the dirty side, where I can actually put my dirty clothes as I use them, basically, and stack them through the other side, and it doesn't change the size of the cube. And I can mix it because they're designed for that. These Lean Travel ones, jury's still out a little bit. It's definitely built pretty good, to be honest about it. They work quite easily, and they're easy to compress without worrying about air, because air just escapes right through the mesh front. Also makes it really easy to see what's in here, right? I can't see what's in these. I have to kind of basically know what's in these. So if you have packing cubes on both sides, these can be a little tricky, right? Because I'm not going to be able to see what's in, especially if you have two of the same size. With these, I can see exactly what's in them. That's awesome. These worked quite well. The downside to these that I've found is dimensions. I don't know where they pulled dimensions to make these, because they're not dimensioned to fit a suitcase, right? These kind of are. They're actually designed so the medium size and the small size, they pack together to be the size, essentially, of a carry-on size luggage. So Peak Design, you did a really good job with dimensioning that. Lean Travel, I think you're really close. Solid. For the money, much better option. These are a lot cheaper than these are. I'll be honest about that real quick. But I think they could be a little bit different size. That'll come with my review. I am still going to use these and give them a full test. And maybe, you know, obviously with packing this with a small bag side by side, maybe that's exactly how they're supposed to be used. So, and again, this was just about clothing. I wasn't packing my toothbrush or any of the other stuff I have to pack in here yet. This is just about to seeing how well this compression is. So, but I did want to put those 2 cents out. And then, of course, these are amazing, but they don't last forever. They do eventually break down. The one with the shirts in it, I think that one has a small leak in it somewhere. But again, we've used these on several trips. And if you're going to pack for a trip that you're going an extremely long period of time, you only want to fit everything in your carry-on, or just, you know, man, I don't know if I'm going to fit everything in there. These are great options because, man, they get your stuff down tight. Downside, if you rip a hole in these, sorry, maybe get some duct tape, maybe that'll help. But also, your clothing does tend to get a little more wrinkly in these, right? Because you have to really compress it down to get all the air out. So they do make some of these that actually use a little vacuum pump. I specifically did not order those when I got these quite a while ago, actually, because I didn't want to have to carry a pump with me. And not every place you go to has a small vacuum or something. They've gotten a lot better, I think, and especially you can get really small pumps now. But just to bring that up at least. So that said, Rimowa, you did a really good job with your compression side, and that's what this video really is about, to compare this and see how well this does, and I think it does really well. Downside is your clothing is exposed, right? And so if something does spill or whatever, or you know, what have you, also dirty clothing, you're gonna have to think about that, right? Bring just a garbage bag would be a good thing to do, right? Because it would separate it, and it would be very, very minimal weight and very small. So, that said, that's what it is. I want to say thank you for watching. If you're watching this video all the way to the end, I appreciate it very, very much. If you could, like, comment, subscribe, I'd really appreciate it, especially if you like it. That said, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to have more on travel stuff before I go on my trip, as well as after. So, if you want to actually catch up with things that are actually going on as they are going on, I have started a new YouTube channel, Shoe Geek. It's kind of my... It's going to be kind of my stuff. I actually, one of the first videos I posted was the day I received this. Shoe Geek, SCHUGEEK. I'll put a link down below as well. But when I'm on my trip, if I actually have some small videos here or there, I'm going to do like restaurant reviews and stuff like that. I'm going to throw all that on there. My hotels that we're staying at, I'm going to review those as well. So by all means, check it out. Shoe Geek. So YouTube, just search Shoe Geek, and we'll catch you there. So thanks again for watching here to the end. We'll catch you here on a future video review here on Tech Gooch. See you soon.